Hi, my name's Chris Quinlan. Welcome to Impromptu TV. Tonight's episode is about the artist Douglas Stubbs, who was a friend of my father's, John James Quinlan, who ran the Dan O'Connell Hotel from 1963 to his retirement in 1976. Douglas Stubbs was an artist who was championed by, I only know his first name, Les, of the Princes Hill Gallery on the corner of Canning and Neil Street, Carlton, through the mid-60s, which was on the other corner from the Dan O'Connell. And there were regular art showings at the hotel during those years. And one of the main artists was Douglas Stubbs. Let me read from Wikipedia for you. Douglas Stubbs, 1927 to 2008, was an Australian artist born in the country town of Leongatha in South Gippsland, Victoria. He arrived in Melbourne as a young man to study at art school. Stubbs studied at the National Gallery School in Melbourne, best known for his colourful surrealistic paintings, frequently of birds. He held the first of several exhibitions in Melbourne in 1964. Sometimes described as naive art, his highly imaginative works have been displayed in galleries all over the country. Stubbs is considered to be an under-recognised artist. A few years ago, I went on a bit of a search for Douglas Stubbs' work. The Quinlan family have a few. I'm the custodian of two major works. One's called The Birds, as the aforementioned, he loved painting birds, and another one is called The Conversation Piece. The backdrop of the studio here is now covered with Douglas Stubbs' work, and a few years ago I was contacted by his daughter Melissa Stubbs, who has very generously given me more background information on the man, her father, and a very artistic family due to Mr. Stubbs himself. One of the funny things about the work and the Dan O'Connell and the connection to it is the beer garden, where both Irish folk music started in 1969, and of course it was a haven for the bikies, as we would say. And what would happen is that even predating that, back to 1965-66, the hotel was used as an erstwhile gallery, and lots of showings. And my parents took a particular like in Douglas Stubbs' work, to the point where every time someone comes to the house and walks through the front room, what are those paintings? And they're Douglas Stubbs. So it's been with me all my life in some way, shape or form. So this show is working towards making Douglas Stubbs less of an under-recognised artist. I hope you like the show. More about Douglas Stubbs in the words of his daughter Melissa. Dad had a blacksmith boxer, a father knockabout, took lots of kids in and taught them boxing. So Dad actually knew how to box and taught my brothers. His mum was a nude model and read tea leaves for money. Her statue is in the Botanical Gardens in Melbourne. Dad had 8 kids, lots of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. We'd all perform at Montsalvat and various places with Dad and the artist colonies. Mum left in 1976. He was a single father, gave up drinking and devoted his time to children playing piano and painting. He had a guy, Nick, who was his patron from the old city days, who would collect his paintings and sell to support us kids. He loved philosophers, Oscar Wilde, Bertolt, Brecht. We were all musical and artistic and intelligent because of Dad. He played classical music daily and painted at night. He wrote a book which I'm trying to trace, The Fat Opera. Two of Douglas Stubbs' great influences, as told to me by his daughter Melissa, was Oscar Wilde and Bertolt Brecht. She sent me a section from The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. What I'll do here is read the preface of that book. The artist is the creator of beautiful things. To reveal art and conceal the artist is art's aim. The critic is he who can translate into another manner or a new material his impression of beautiful things. The highest as the lowest form of criticism is a mode of autobiography. Those who find ugly meanings in beautiful things are corrupt without being charming. This is a fault. Those who find beautiful meanings in beautiful things are the cultivated. For these there is hope. They are the elect to whom beautiful things mean only beauty. There is no such thing as a moral or an immoral book. Books are well written or badly written. That is all. The 19th century dislike of realism is the rage of Caliban seeing his own face in a glass. The 19th century dislike of romanticism is the rage of Caliban not seeing his own face in a glass. The moral life of a man forms part of the subject matter of the artist, but the morality of art consists in the perfect use of an imperfect medium. No artist desires to prove anything. Even things that are true can be proved. No artist has ethical sympathies. An ethical sympathy in an artist is an unpardonable mannerism of style. No artist is ever morbid. The artist can express everything. Thought and language are to the artist instruments of an art. Vice and virtue are to the artist materials for an art. From the point of view of form, the type of all the arts is the art of the musician. From the point of view of feeling, the actor's craft is the type. All art is at once surface and symbol. Those who go beneath the surface do so at their peril. Those who read the symbol do so at their peril. It is the spectator and not life that art really mirrors. Diversity of opinion about a work of art shows that the work is new, complex, and vital. When critics disagree, the artist is in accord with himself. We can forgive a man for making a useful thing as long as he does not admire it. The only excuse for making a useless thing is that one admires it intensely. All art is quite useless. Oscar Wilde. A Worker Reads History by Bertolt Brecht. Who built the 7 gates of Thebes? The books are filled with names of kings. Was it the kings who hauled the craggy blocks of stone? And Babylon, so many times destroyed? Who built the city up each time? In which of Lima's houses, that city glittering with gold, lived those who built it? In the evening when the Chinese wall was finished, where did the masons go? Imperial Rome is full of arcs of triumph. Who reared them up? Over whom did the Caesars triumph? Byzantium lives in song, were all her dwellings palaces, and even in Atlantis of the legend, the night the seas rushed in, the drowning men still bellowed for their slaves. Young Alexander conquered India. He alone, Caesar, beat the Gauls. Was there not even a cook in his army? Philip of Spain wept as his fleet was sunk and destroyed. Were there no other tears? Frederick the Great triumphed in the 7 Years' War. Who triumphed with him? Each page of victory. At whose expense the victory ball? Every 10 years a great man. Who paid the piper? So many particulars, so many questions. Requiescat by Oscar Wilde. Tread lightly, she is near, under the snow. Speak gently, she can hear the daisies grow. All her bright golden hair tarnished with rust, she that was young and fair, fallen to dust. Lily-like, white as snow, she hardly knew she was a woman, so sweetly she grew. Coffin board, heavy stone lie on her breast. I vex my heart alone, she is at rest. Peace, peace she cannot hear, lyre or sonnet, all my life's buried here. Heap earth upon it. A Villanelle by Oscar Wilde. O singer of Persephone in the dim meadows desolate, dost thou remember Sicily? Still through the ivy flits the bee, where Amaryllis lies in state. O singer of Persephone, Simatha calls on Hecate, and hears the wild dogs at the gate. Dost thou remember Sicily? Still by the light and laughing sea, poor Polypheme bemoans his fate, O singer of Persephone. And still in boyish rivalry young Daphne's challenges his mate. Dost thou remember Sicily? Slim Lacon keeps a goat for thee the jocund shepherds wait. O singer of Persephone, dost thou remember Sicily? I Never Loved You More by Bertolt Brecht. I never loved you more, ma soeur, than as I walked away from you that evening. The forest swallowed me, the blue forest, ma soeur, the blue forest, and above it pale stars in the west. I did not laugh, not one little bit, ma soeur, as I playfully walked towards a dark fate, while the faces behind me slowly paled in the evening of the blue forest. Everything was grand that one night, ma soeur. Never thereafter and never before. I admit it, I was left with nothing but the big birds and their hungry cries in the dark evening sky. The Burning of the Books by Bertolt Brecht. And I am marching with my own and my brother's foe. So I have lost my brother, I wove his winding sheet. I know now by this victory I wrought my own defeat. The Burning of the Books. When the regime ordered that books with dangerous teaching should be publicly burnt, and everywhere oxen were forced to draw carts full of books to the funeral pyre, an old poet, one of the best, discovered with fury when he studied the list of the burned that his own books had been forgotten. He rushed to his writing table on wings of anger and wrote a letter to those in power. "Burn me," he wrote with a hurrying pen, "burn me! Do not treat me in this fashion. Don't leave me out. Have I not always taught truth in my books? And now you treat me like a liar. I order you, burn me!"